All right, so today we're diving into Mark Manson's follow-up to his huge bestseller. And this time, he's taking aim at something we all hold pretty dear, hope. As you can probably guess from the title, his whole argument is that our relationship with it, it's completely, well, you know.
It all starts with this one quiet belief that pretty much all of us have, even if we never say it out loud. It's that little voice inside that tells us we're the main character, that our story's different, that we're somehow special.
And then, boom, Manson just drops this question on us. What if that's all just a nice story we tell ourselves? What if you're not special at all? This is the question that kicks off his entire argument. And yeah, it's definitely designed to make us a little uncomfortable.
So that feeling of being a little off balance, that leads us right into the first big idea of the book. Manson calls it the uncomfortable truth. And honestly, it's the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
I mean, these are the huge stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m. questions, right? The kind of stuff we usually try to push away. But this book, it forces you to look them right in the eye. What's the actual point of all this running around and trying so hard?
And the answer Manson gives? Well, it's pretty brutal. He says that if you zoom all the way out, look at the billions of years, the endless galaxies, our individual lives are just this tiny, insignificant blip. The universe, he argues, just doesn't care about us one way or the other. It sounds pretty dark, I know.
But, and this is the really wild part, this isn't supposed to be depressing. It's supposed to be freeing. Think about it. Once you truly accept that you're not cosmically important, all that pressure to be special or to leave some massive legacy just evaporates. You can finally just be.
Okay, so if this truth is so liberating, why does it feel so hard? Why do we fight it? Well, to get that, we've got to look under the hood, inside our own heads where there's this constant war going on. Manson pictures our mind as being split between these two kind of competing forces. You've got the thinking brain, that's the one that makes spreadsheets, plans for retirement, and tries to be logical. And then you've got the feeling brain, which just runs on pure instinct, emotion, and what feels good right now. And this is the absolute key to understanding ourselves. We like to think our logical thinking brain is the one in charge, but it's not. It's just the navigator in the passenger seat shouting out directions. The one with its hands on the wheel, the one who's actually driving the car, that's our impulsive feeling brain. It's why you know you should go to the gym, but you feel like ordering a pizza. And guess who usually wins? So, with our feelings driving the car and a universe that doesn't really care where we're going, this is where hope is supposed to ride in on a white horse and save the day, right? Well, not so fast. Manson argues that hope is a massive paradox. It can be our greatest savior, but it can also be our most dangerous poison. I mean, if you think about it, for centuries, our biggest systems have basically been hope factories. Religion gives us hope for what happens after we die, giving us a sense of purpose. And science? It offers us hope for a better life right now, curing diseases, inventing new tech, always promising a better future. But here's the really tricky part. Hope itself isn't good or bad. It's just a tool. It can motivate a hero to save the world, sure, but it can also fuel a villain who hopes to build a terrible empire. And even deeper than that, hope actually needs pain to exist. You only hope for a better future because the present isn't perfect. If everything were amazing all the time, hope wouldn't even be a thing.
And, this isn't some brand new, edgy idea Manson came up with. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche was talking about this very trap over 100 years ago. He said that if your life is built on hope, you're always focused on what you're missing. You're constantly living for a future that might never come, and you're never actually content with the here and now.
So what's the alternative? Give up? No. Nietzsche had this incredible concept called amor fati. It literally means love your fate. It's not about being passive. It's about radically accepting your life. All of it. The good, the bad, the ugly, without wishing any of it was different. It's about loving the reality you have instead of hoping for a different one.
Okay, so we've kind of torn everything down, right? Our need to be special, our addiction to hope. So now let's build something new. Manson suggests we need a new operating system for being an adult, one that's based on solid principles, not just feelings or wishes.
Think about how we grow up. When we're little kids, we're 100% feeling brain. We just do what feels good and avoid what feels bad. Then, as teenagers, our thinking brain comes online, and we start making deals with ourselves, avoiding pain now to get pleasure later. But real adulthood, Manson says, is when you move beyond that and start living by a code, by principles.
So for this ultimate principle, Manson reaches for another heavyweight philosopher, Immanuel Kant. Kant's big idea, his formula of humanity, is so simple it's profound. Basically, do the right thing just because it's the right thing to do. Your actions should be the goal themselves, not just a way to get something else.
And to make this super simple, Manson uses what he calls the burrito test. It's brilliant. If you buy a burrito just because you're hungry, that's an unconditional action. The burrito is the point. But if you buy that burrito because you're secretly hoping you'll run into that cute person from down the street, now the burrito is just a tool. The action is conditional. A principled life is about choosing the first path as much as you can.
Okay, this brings everything together. The final, most important piece of the puzzle. In a world that feels so messed up, how do we actually live? The answer comes down to doing, not just waiting.
So let's just quickly run through the big takeaways here. 1. Embrace the fact that you're not the center of the universe. It's incredibly freeing. 2. Learn to steer your feeling brain with better values, not just try to fight it with logic. 3. Be careful with hope. Understand that it needs struggle and can be a trap. And 4. Live a life of unconditional action. Do good for the sake of doing good.
So at the end of the day, the message is really simple. Stop waiting. That passive kind of hope, where you're just wishing for things to get better, is a dead end. Real meaning doesn't come from wishing. It comes from doing. It's about taking that fragile feeling of hope and turning it into actual, real-world effort.
And that leaves us with one last, kind of mind-bending thought to chew on. What if we've got hope all wrong? What if it's not some magical thing you find or a perfect future you wait for? What if real, lasting hope is actually the result of your own actions? Something you build piece by piece right here in the middle of this messy, fucked up, beautiful life.